Mike, we're continuing our What I Love About Comics video series. It will be going throughout the year. So, Mike, what's another thing you love about comics?
One of the things that I've always liked, well, since I've had the store at least, is Valiant Comics. Valiant has had 3 incarnations now, and it's been a very interesting ride. I mean, they started off with licensed properties: Magnus, Turok, Solar. And then from there, and this was back in the 80s, they went to, late 80s, early 90s, they went and created a bunch of new things. New characters, new concepts. Building off of, we've got a godlike character in Solar, a future robot fighter in Magnus, and a time-lost Indian that fights dinosaurs in Turok, and turned that into a viable, ongoing, current continuity universe. Jim Shooter was in charge of it, created wonderful characters like Armstrong and Gilad and Ivar. These are 3 characters who've been around forever. Literally. They're immortal. One of them, Gilad, is the Eternal Warrior. Armstrong, with his partner, was in Archer and Armstrong, and Ivar jumps through time and is known as the Time Walker. They created the ultimate soldier in Bloodshot, an unkillable killing machine, filled with nanites that repair him over and over at the cost of his humanity. They created Ninjak, a British ninja. Yeah, a British ninja who's got millions of dollars and has used it for all sorts of technology to become more and more powerful. They created Harbinger, which was really weird because Harbinger is not about the group of kids, or is not the name of the group of kids that showed up in the book. Harbinger was the name of the program and the foundation that the bad guy created, that these kids were on the run from. Created this whole thing, wonderful entity. Other characters also, Shadow Man and the like, cohesive universe that worked together fantastically. Until he got bought out and shuffled to the side, and it sort of crumbled and died. But the loyalty from the people that watched it and that read those books still remains. Now, after Shooter was ousted, Acclaim bought Valiant, and they tried Valiant version 2.0, or Acclaim Comics, and that was interesting. I won't say it was good, but it was interesting. Because they had top name creators like Mark Waid reimagining characters like Exo Manowar. But Exo Manowar started off a barbarian in an Iron Man suit of armor. And that was fantastic. The reimagining, he's in the American military and he gets it, just was flat. And most of their stuff easily forgettable, with a couple of exceptions. They did create some brand new properties, like Troublemakers, a bunch of kids who have superpowers and are an experiment for the government. That was fantastic. And then, of course, there's Trinity Angels, my favorite book that no one's ever heard of. Written and drawn by Kevin Maguire, with a really quirky sense of humor. It was about 3 sisters that have powers and fight all sorts of bizarre things. Words don't really do it justice. All I can say is you have to read it, and everyone that read it loved it. Flash forward to a couple of years ago, and you get Valiant version 3, which is what's currently coming out. You have a guy who read the original Valiants and loved them, has been a fan of them for his entire life, who manages to gather the money to buy the rights to the characters and restart Valiant. That's what we've got going currently. He started with Harbinger, then quickly branched out into Exo, Eternal Warrior, Archer and Armstrong. He cannot use Magnus, Solar, or Rye because they were originally licensed. So they don't show up. Although you do see Divinity taking the place of Solar. You do see Savage taking the place of Turok. But it's new concepts. Bloodshot is back with a great story by Jeff Lemire that has to be read to be believed, because the original Bloodshot, while an interesting concept, was just a guy goes around shooting things up, a Punisher type. The new Bloodshot, they focus on the person that is Bloodshot. He doesn't know who he was. He's trying to learn. He's trying to keep his humanity while everything's going on. You've got Exo Manowar, which just finished a fantastic 50-plus issue run, all written by Robert Venditti. Excellent science fiction, set in the same universe. Exo just got a new #1 that came out, this time written by Matt Kindt. The name of the artist escapes me offhand, but it has to be seen to be believed. Looks like it's going to continue the tradition of being one of the premier science fiction titles coming out. Really, if you haven't read this, you need to. Heck, sit down and read it in the store. I don't care. You'll like it. They're doing Ninjak. They did Harbinger. They're doing all sorts of stuff that's really, really well done. I mean, Harbinger Renegade just restarted because what current Valiant is doing is very different from every other company. They realized that there's a lot of collectors out there that want to get everything, want to get the entire universe. You can't afford to do that with Marvel. You can't afford to do that with DC. You get bits and pieces. You follow your favorite characters, but you can't follow everything. So Valiant said, yeah, we're going to change that. We're having a shared universe where everything fits together and you can get everything. And how do they do that? Two words, or two different concepts. A, they do a lot of mini-series and limited series so that they can bring something out for a little bit and then put it aside. B, they've made a commitment to never publish more than 10 titles in a month. Which means they want to do Exo, something else has to go away. They want to do Harbinger Renegade, they had to stop Archer and Armstrong. Well, we'll just put them aside for a while. They can still show up in other things, but they won't have a monthly book. When they want it, because they're also trying to introduce new concepts. Britannia just showed up in Divinity 3, the Stalinverse. They just introduced 4 or 5 brand new characters. They spun out of Harbinger a group of characters called Generation Zero. They spun Faith out into her ongoing series. Well, so something has to give. So, we had a Rye series with beautiful art by Creighton Clane. It went away because we need to put him away for a little bit to do something else. Right now, we've got a great Ninjak series being written by Matt Kindt, but it looks like it's probably winding down because we have something else to do and we have this much space, because we know that you only have this much budget. And that's just really cool that a comic company would put their fans first instead of putting money first. And oh yeah, they don't have the big name of DC or Marvel or Image or Dark Horse. But you know what they do have? They do have a movie deal. There's going to be 5 movies coming out. Bloodshot, Harbinger are both coming out, and they're going to do the Bloodshot Harbinger War. In a course of 5 movies is what they have currently set in the deal. Well, will they be any good? I don't know. To be honest, I always look at the comics first and the movies second. But let me tell you, if you think that you're interested, getting the comics now is a good deal because they don't sell as many copies. You will not be able to find them. And trust me, they are worth it. Excellent books, high quality, good writers that stick with the stuff, good artists that stick with it, and a cohesive universe. And they've got everything. You've got ninjas, you've got shoot 'em up, you've got superheroes, you've got science fiction, you've got mysticism with Master Dark and Shadow Man, and it all fits together. What's not to love about these comics?